Akriti Gupta and I am 22 years old. I am currently pursuing my final year of graduation from Principal MC Shah Commerce College, and I am glad that I got the opportunity to participate in Scope State Level English Storytelling Competition. And the topic is happiness. Happiness is a subjective word, as for some it is the achievement of professional goals or earning a paycheck, whereas for some it is just simple pleasure of enjoying a warm cup of coffee. But I believe happiness is something that comes from within and is not dependent on external sources, as it is a consequence of personal effort. The art of being happy lies in the power of extracting happiness from common things. There's a saying by Gautam Buddha that is, there is no path to happiness, as happiness itself is the path, and that we should always look for silver lining in each dark cloud, and we will be able to brighten up our days. So the story is about a king, his minister, and a farmer's family. So there was a king who was walking with his minister one day, and in the farm he saw a farmer along with his family, his wife and his son. They were buzzing, so much life in them, their faces were radiant, they were beaming with joy, they were singing, they had so much love and affection for each other. So the king said, "Man, I have a massive palace, I have everything one could ever dream for. How come they are more happier than me? Why?" So the minister replied, "Sir, because they are not a member of 99 Club." So the king said, "What is 99 Club?" So the minister said, "Give me 99 gold coins and I will tell you what is 99 Club." So the king gave him a bag of 99 gold coins, and the minister said, "I will tell you after 6 months and not today." So the minister took the bag of 99 gold coins and put it right at the doorstep of the farmer's house. So the next day when the farmer got up, he saw a bag and he went inside the house as excited as he was, and he opened the bag and gosh, glittered in gold coins. He emptied the contents on the floor and started counting. They were 99. He couldn't believe it because he thought he was so excited that he's counting it all wrong. So he counted again, but it was 99. So he called his wife and asked her to count it again. She counted, it was 99. So he said, "You're doing it all wrong." He called his son and he counted, it was 99. So he said, "Who is that idiot who forgot to put one more? He should have made it a round figure, 100, no?" So he said, "God, we can't live like this. We have to make this 100. So he started working hard for that one gold coin, which would take him months and years to get one. So the next day when the farmer went to work, his wife thought, "We have so many gold coins, why not use them?" So she took 2 gold coins and she went for shopping. When the farmer came back home, whenever you used to come back home, you always used to count the gold coins. That day it was 97. So he asked his wife, "Where are the 2 gold coins?" She said, "I went to shopping with that." So the farmer yelled at her and said, "I am working hard, putting my blood and sweat to get that 1 gold coin, and you not just spent it like that." Meanwhile, his son spent 2 more gold coins and it was 95 left. 6 months passed by like that, and one day the king and the minister were walking by the farm and they saw the buzz had gone, the love had gone, there were no happiness, and there were only fights, arguments, bickering. So the king said, "Man, in just 6 months, what changed so much? What happened?" So the minister said, "Sir, now they are officially the members of 99 Club." So the king said, "Man, what is 99 Club?" So the minister said, 99 Club is a name given to those people who have enough to be happy but are never contented, because they're continuously striving for that extra thing. They keep telling themselves that, "Let me get that one thing and I'll be happy for life." But what is the point if we forget to utilize the 99 gold coins we already have? So the moral of the story is that we should never postpone our happiness to then, because happiness will never come to those who fail to appreciate what they already have. And hence, don't wait for the destination. Start finding your happiness while you are on the journey, because happiness is a journey and not a destination. Thank you.
Why am I poor? Why am I hideous? Why am I single? Meanwhile, lots of my friends live happy couple lives, and here I am living my most miserable life ever. These were some of the phrases my classmate Hannah told me once we were having a field trip walk. So I smiled and I looked at her. I told her, "There once lived a crow in a forest, freely flying everywhere he wanted to. But one day he encountered a swan He approached the swan and said, "Oh, you look so beautiful. You look so white, and here I am so dark. I feel miserable right now." So the swan replied to him, "Oh, I wish I was as happy as you thought I am. But have you encountered the parrot with its beautiful colors, blue and green? I think you should meet him once, and then you will realize I am not the most happiest being in this forest." Immediately the crow flew to go encounter the parrot, and he was amazed by how beautiful the parrot looked in his beautiful and outstanding colors. He praised the parrot, and the parrot replied to him, "My dear friend, I think you should go meet the peacock. I have never seen such a majestic being in my entire life." All amazed and surprised by this information, the crow flew to go meet the peacock. The peacock looked sad, and at the moment the crow started praising the peacock turned to him and said, "I am sorry to inform to you that I am not happy. Look at me, I am encaged into the zoo. Meanwhile you are freely living. I wish I was you. I wish I could live your life." This might sound like a story for birds and animals and feathers, but I think this applies to our lives, our daily lives as human beings. With the arousal of social media, we tend to scroll through all the news feed, and we are kind of flattered and intimidated by the beauty of social media, and we think that we look less beautiful than the people we see on the screen. But I wish to tell you that we are all beautiful and that we should be happy with what we have, because true happiness is found in being contented by what we already possess. And those were the exact phrases I told my friend Hannah, and I hope this message is going to reach to you. This was my story on happiness. I am Bidias Omong Andre Victorien. Thank you very much.
A name that marked his presence in heart of hundreds and thousands chicken lover doesn't need any introduction. Even if you're not chicken lover, the inspirational story of Colonel Sanders will beg you to know more about him. This story is about a person who is an excellent example of person overcoming adversity, determination and persistence. Today, I hereby Bora wants to share with you the story of the founder of KFC, Colonel Sanders. This story begins with Harlan Sanders, who was born in the year 1819. At the age of 12, his father passed away. Soon, he took all the responsibilities on his shoulder and left town to find some job to make the two ends meet. At the age of 12, his mother got remarried. His new stepfather didn't like him, so he was sent 80 miles away for work. Sanders soon realized that he would rather work whole day than going to school. So, he dropped out in class 7th. Later, he worked for various jobs and spent half of his life doing series of odd jobs, including selling tires, selling engine boards parts, cleaning insurance of houses, etc., etc. Finally, in the year 1930, he settled for a permanent job as cook and dishwasher in the small cafe of North Corbin. In his leisure time, he used to cook food. Cooking was his only skill and he was passionate about it. He used to cook food and serve to the people in the house, which was converted into eatery. Soon people rushed at his place to have food. He bought larger plates to accommodate the ever-increasing demand of his food. He also increased the number of dishes and launched legendary fried chicken recipe in 1963. Sanders was very happy that he was finally successful in his new business. In order to expand his business, he traveled restaurant to restaurant and cooked fried chicken recipe in front of them. About 1,009 restaurants rejected his recipe, but he didn't give up. He believed that his recipe was unique and went ahead with the same recipe. In 1963, about 600 restaurants were selling his recipe. KFC was at the peak of glory. Sandal never really worried about making money. All he focused on quality of food. KFC has faced many ups and downs but has remained crowd favorite ever since it was launched with 20,000 locations globally with 123 countries. Today, KFC is second largest restaurant food chain in the world. He hit the road of success at the age of 65. So the moral of story is, ships don't sink because of water around them. Ships sink because of water into them. So next time if you are faced with any challenges or adversity, will you allow the water to sink your ships or you will allow water to carry you to new destinations? Thank you.
My name is Khushbu Thakkar and I am from Morbi. I am a final year civil engineering student at LE College, Morbi. I write poetry and blogs. The topic that I have chosen for today's story is a person overcoming adversity. And the title that I have given to my story is A True Warrior. Bro, when are you getting married? My child, I will dance at your wedding. A 23-year-old working professional started facing similar questions almost every day. Tall, smart, handsome, hardworking, jolly. Wait, these are just a few adjectives that can describe him. Bad mood and want to have a belly laugh? Talk to him. Your mood will be flipped in no time. 2012. He returned home after working for hours. His body started raising its temperature. Considering it a normal fever and fatigue, he started taking some random medicines collected in a small box placed in the last row. A random call. Bro, what happened? I heard you drank fever inside. No, I'm perfectly fine. Well, these medicines forced the fever to shrink and gave some time to make the situation worse. It came out again, resulting in some more complications which forced him to visit the doctor. The doctor prescribed him some medicines. But this time, it jumped with a higher magnitude. Complications started increasing. And this time, doctors recommended him some tests. The result of test was not in the favor, which led him to consume some high-power medicines. And then, explosion. Boom! Complications started becoming more severe. Some parts of his body started swelling. The time he was busy changing his hospitals and medicines, his sickness was changing its effects and strength. High dose of medicine started affecting his kidney and liver. He was struggling a lot, fighting with this uninvited illness in his body. Hey bro, what is this happening? No, I'm perfectly fine. 2017. His body stopped giving responses. It was now time for a kidney transplant. Operation happened 6 months passed away and nothing changed. Doctors now recommended him to begin with the dialysis process once a week. With all the pain, he was smiling ear to ear. Frequency of dialysis was slowly changed from once to twice and then thrice a week. His heart and lungs were also affected. 2020. Working of his heart and lungs was reduced from 100 to 50-25%. Dialysis process was now happening 4 times a week. Hey brother, what is this happening? Please take care. Don't worry, this will be recovered soon. Thank you. February 2021. Time reduced swellings on his body, but the condition was still the same. Fever now seemed like a sesame seed in the hip of dry grass. In this period of 9 years, his family tried putting their hands on everything from allopathic to Ayurvedic and whatnot. It was an early morning of April 30. He woke up, had tea, went for a walk, came back and closed his eyes to take some rest. But nobody knew that he was closing his eyes forever. Well, the person I'm referring to is my cousin. He He's no more and I really miss him. But I'm happy that I was a sister of such a powerful brother. I had a conversation with him over a phone call just 2 days before this incident. I'm so proud of him. For me, he is a true winner because he kept fighting until his last breath. We never know what will happen. We just have to keep fighting like a warrior. If you want to do something, do now. Don't wait for the right time to come because these little things will fetch you more happiness and satisfaction. Stay strong. You are a warrior. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nidhi Thumar and today I'm going to be telling you all a story. The topic of my story is a girl breaking stereotype. There was once a girl named Lily. She lived near a small town in Pennsylvania and she was really smart and intelligent from a very young age. And like every other girl, she also liked the idea of becoming a princess, dressing up and ballet. And as she was growing up, she was applying to college and she asked her maths teacher to write a recommendation letter for her. And she didn't know what to major in, so her teacher suggested that she should take engineering. At first she was like, no, it's so boring and it's for boys and why would she even recommend it to me? But her teacher's advice got stuck into her head, so she decided to take ME 101, that is mechanical engineering, just to give it a try. So it was a freshman year. She was terrified, but she went to the class and she nailed it. She really liked what engineering is. She was like, it was a really cool skill set that they can build anything they want, from an app to mobile to bridges, and she was really enjoying it. So at about halfway through her major, she took an engineering drawing class and she was really excited as she was an artistic girl, so she was excited to draw. Only the problem was in that class they had to draw in perspective, so she was really stuck and struggling with the material. But she was determined and she decided not to give up, as she wanted to prove that she was no less than the other boys in that major. She earned her degree and graduated. After a few years, she did some research in this field and she came to know that she had underdeveloped spatial skills, which is most of the girls have that, as the girls play with dolls and makeup sets while the boys play with Legos and other construction sets. And at that very moment, she decided that she would make an engineering toy for girls. So she got to work. She met thousands of girls and she would buy construction sets and watch them play with it. But the girls would eventually get bored on it after some time. So she asked one of the girls that what did she like, and that girl ran upstairs and came back and bring down a book, and she said that she liked to read. And that's when a simple idea struck to her, that why not build a toy where a main character named Goldie goes on adventures and they get to read stories and they get to build with her. And she made that prototype and tested on hundreds of girls and it worked. So she was really happy, and then after she participated in an accelerator program in Silicon Valley. As she was walking into the room, which was full of Mark Zuckerbergs, one of the guy came up to her and made fun of her, and her confidence was shattered at that very moment and she couldn't get into the program. But she was determined, and after a few years she went to a New York toy fair and decided to represent her toy. But there also everyone was like, construction toys for girls won't go with the market and all that. But she was determined that she will not give up, and she decided to partner up with a factory. Only the problem was the minimum order was 5,000, and after all this rejection, she was really not sure that she could do that. So she put up her project on an online funding program, hoping to get the money in 30 days. And guess what? She hit her target in 4 days, and also her minimum production was not just 5,000, it was over 20,000. And stores were all over calling her from all over the world that they wanted Goldie, and parents were reaching her out and telling her that daughter is more than just a princess. And she was really happy to see that, as she made it all possible. And at last, I just want to say that if you genuinely think an idea is good, don't just give up, just give it a try. Thank you.
Hello all and greetings of the day. I am Parikshit Vinayak Joshi from Vadodara, Gujarat, and this is my story. My story underlines one of the most basic as well as one of the most important fundamentals of our Indian culture, that is our values and ethics. The title of my story is Whatever Happens, Happens for Good Reason. Once upon a time there lived a mighty king. He was pious in all the aspects of life. The only live fault he had was his short-temperedness, which was known to all the people of his kingdom. He was as mighty as the sun, if one may want to compare to. But you know that even the sun has sunspots, so his short-temperedness acted like sunspots upon his character. He had a very wise noble in his court who would guide him in every decision the king would make, and he would also accompany the king wherever he went. In fact, the nobleman was the only one in his kingdom who could calm the king's anger down. One day the king was practicing sword fighting in his backyard, and the practice was so fierce that the king accidentally chopped off his own finger. The king started yelling in pain, and soon the king's pain turned into anger, and the courtiers got terrified. They knew that there was only one man who could calm the king's anger down, and that was this nobleman. So they all approached him, and the nobleman pleaded to the king that, Your Majesty, yelling at a chopped finger would not help in growing a new one. So please stabilize yourself. You have a whole kingdom to handle. Why are you crying over your chopped finger? Remember that whatever happens, happens for good reason. Now, usually the king used to calm himself down upon the words of the nobleman, but this time it didn't happen. The king yelled back at the nobleman that, I have lost my finger over here, and you are telling me to keep quiet and accept that this happened for good reason? And before the nobleman could clarify his grounds, the king ordered his soldiers to imprison the nobleman. The nobleman stood helpless, but he stood strong upon his words because he believed in them. Few days passed and the king decided to go on a hunting trail alone. Now the nobleman usually would accompany the king on his hunting trail, but as the nobleman was imprisoned, this time the king was alone. While venturing into the forest, the king accidentally stepped upon a trap, and sooner or later he found himself hanging upside down on a tree. After some time, some tribal people came, they pulled his body down, they tied him to ropes and took him to their village. On their way to the village, the king asked the tribal man, where are they taking him and why are they taking him? The tribal man replied that we are taking you to our village so that we could chop your head off and offer your head as an offering to our gods and goddesses so they would be happy on us. The king was shocked to hear this, but as he was alone, he was helpless and he sat down there peacefully. After some time, they arrived at their village, and then something miraculous happened. The village chief decided to examine the king's body before chopping off his head. And while examining his body, he found that he didn't have one finger. He had only 9 fingers. And according to them, he was handicapped. And according to their traditions, it is not allowed to chop off a handicapped person's head. So the chief pondered upon this thought for a while and gave the decision that set him free. He is not fit for us. His head should not be chopped off. It is against our tradition. The king was astonished upon hearing this, but he certainly was happy. And on his way home, he recalled the words of the nobleman that whatever happens, happens for good reason. He felt guilty of imprisoning him, and after coming home, he set him free. He narrated the whole incident to the nobleman, and the nobleman, upon hearing this, thanked the king that, Oh, Your Majesty, you saved my life. The king got curious and asked him, How did I save your life? The nobleman replied that, Your Majesty, if you would not have imprisoned me that day for giving you advice, then I would definitely have accompanied you on your hunting trail and would have got caught into the trap, and I, being fit, would have got my head chopped off. So because of your imprisonment, I am alive today. The king was very impressed upon the words of the nobleman, and he rewarded him, and it all ended well. Now, this story plot might not be applicable in today's world, but the message it conveys surely is. We tend to think that only bad things are happening in our life, but what we don't know is the good things which are planned for us in the upcoming future. So just keep doing good karma, whatever the circumstances prevail, and always remember that whatever happens for good reason. So I thank you all for investing your precious time into listening my story. Stay safe and have a nice day. Thank you all.
Hello, I'm Riddhi Mehta. I'm a student at Marwari University who is currently pursuing computer engineering. I'm here to deliver a story and have chosen the topic happiness. This tale is about a 10-year-old boy named Augustus. Augustus was a spoilt brat and he was the son of multimillionaire Mr. Isaac Waters. Augustus had many friends in his class as he was considered the coolest kid. On Monday morning, when Augustus entered the class, Chris, James and Jackson came to him and said, "Hey, good morning mate. Did you enjoy your weekend?" Augustus said, "Oh, of course. The water park was marvelous. Look, Mama's here. Let's take a seat." Miss Baker arrived in the class and announced, "Kids, there's a public speaking competition here at school. The topic is, what do you desire in your life to be happy? Please take this into your consideration. Thank you." Augustus was sitting right behind Chris, who edged him and said, "Chris, let's take part in this competition. Let's do something fun." Chris found it hilarious and replied, "Come on, Augustus. You literally have everything in life. What will you say? You want an island?" Augustus faked his laugh. Augustus was validated that his friends thought that he had everything in his life. But the question was, did he? So, the day of competition arrived. The participants were made to sit separately on individual chairs on the stage. To everyone's amazement, Augustus took part. Everyone was eagerly waiting to find out what Augustus, the child of the millionaire, decided in his life. Chris said, "I gave him the idea that he can have an island. Probably he's going to say the same." Everyone laughed and suddenly the room got silent as the host took over the podium and said, "Good morning, respected judges who are sitting on the comfortable couch in front of the stage and hundreds of students as an audience in this beautiful amphitheater to find out what these participants desire in their life to be happy. Our very first participant is Mr. David Brown." So, David came to the stage and said, "Hello everyone. All I desire in my life that I consistently perform well so that I get the best job because education is everything." Trust me, no one heard after this. People merely applauded for the fact that David stopped speaking and they were no longer required to hear him. Next was Angelina, who spoke that all she desired was schools should have better uniform. Angelina got way more claps than David. The host then said, "Thank you, Angelina. Now, it's time for our last performance, Mr. Augustus Waters." Everyone cheered for him even before he spoke. Chris gestured him good luck along with James and Jackson. Augustus stood up, took the mic in his hand, and started speaking. "I am Augustus Waters, and I normally introduce myself as the son of Mr. Isaac Waters. Everyone thinks that I'm bragging about how rich my father is. I do this to hide what I desire in my life." And the answer is mother. There were gasps from the audience. No one could believe what they heard. He continued and said, "Yeah, that's true. I desire a mother. I lost my mother last year. I didn't tell anyone, not even my closest friends, because all they think that I am the coolest kid around. They thought that I had everything, but in reality, I want to tell everyone how lucky they are. I don't get to eat tiffin made by my mother anymore. While crossing the road, my mom no longer holds my finger in her hand so that I feel secure. No one scolds me as my dad is always busy. I live in the world without my mom." Tears were rolling down his eyes. Everyone realized how blessed they were in life and applauded when Augustus was the first prize. Who knew a multi-millionaire's child didn't have the world's biggest happiness in his life? His mother. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sanskruti Vaikar and I am pursuing Bachelor's in Pharmacy from ITM SLS Baroda University. Today's topic for my story is happiness. Yes, this story is about a girl named Samaira Chukshi. She has just passed her 10th boards and have been shifted to another state in the hostel for her further studies away from her parents. She was very hyped up as it was her birthday, but she was also upset because unfortunately it was also her exams dated on the same day. She called her parents, she talked to them, she told them what she felt like. She was very upset, and listening to the low voice of their daughter, the parents decided to parcel her the gift which they wanted to give her. So the day came and she waited for the whole day, but she did not receive her parcel. With all the frustration built up in her, she went to sleep. The other day, she woke up with the sound of a bell. And who was it? It was the delivery man. Without thinking anything, she just lashed out on him. Where were you when it was my birthday? Why did not I get the parcel when I wanted it? The delivery man said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. Actually, the thing is, this is my part-time job. My main job is as a vegetable vendor. And today is my daughter's birthday. She has never demanded me anything. But this time, she has got entry into a school on the basis of her own scholarship, but she does not have a bag to go to school. So I wanted to gift her a bag on her birthday. Unfortunately, I worked for the whole day, but still I could not get the money to give her the gift, and in the process also let you down, ma'am. I'm so sorry and I apologize." Listening to this delivery man's side of the story, even Samaira apologized. "Sir, I'm sorry, I lashed out on you. Please come, sit, have some water, I'll check the parcel and then you can go." After opening her gift, what does she see? It was a branded bag which she always wished for. And guess what happened next? She asked the delivery man to give this bag to her daughter as the birthday gift. The delivery man rejected. He said, "No ma'am, this is yours. I cannot take it." Samaira said, "No sir, you have to. Obviously, I would be happy to have this, but I would be more happier to see the smile on your daughter's face when she'll wear this bag and go to school." The delivery man still said, "No, this is a gift from your parents. I cannot take it. They have given you." Samaira said, "Don't worry about my parents. They have always taught me that happiness is not when I'll smile. Happiness is when I'll make others smile because of me. So you just take this and give it to your daughter. Also wish her from my side." After a very long conversation, the delivery man finally accepted the gift, thanked her and said, "Ma'am, I will never forget this and thank you so much." And he went. So the moral of the story is very simple. In order to look for a huge amount of happiness, don't forget that you can find happiness in very little things, like giving water to the delivery man when they come from the heat of the sun. So always treat others well and always make others feel happy, because happiness lies in others' happiness. Thank you so much.
She sacrifices when she loves indeed. You are her choice, not her need. Namaskar. Hello everyone, I'm Shivani Pandey from Mehsana. I'm 21 years old and I'm in my final year of graduation in electrical engineering from LD College of Engineering. The title of my story is Yes You Can. It was a bright day and it seemed like there was something special about this evening, as somewhere in a small town a big hall was decorated. Inside the very hall, there was a stage with a podium and a big screen behind. The screen was projecting the name of the organization and a picture of a strong-headed, independent lady with a glow of confidence on her face, posing with her folded hands, which were strength of many women, and wearing a very beautiful white chiffon sari decorated with blue lace borders. And yes, the time came. She was about to come and speak. She was none other than Miss Sujata, the founder of organization named Yes She Can. On the 10th foundation day of this organization, she chose this podium to share her story, which made her journey there. So as she started speaking, let's go back. Back then, when she was 17, she was young, energetic, bright, ambitious girl seeking her career in ornament designing. Being in a society where to pursue a different dream is difficult, with all her efforts and hard work, she made her way in a top-notch, high-paid institute of designing. And from here, it all began. She was performing exceptionally well, and slowly she fell in love with a tall, blue-eyed, smart boy named Arvind. As she was done with her studies, they both decided to get married, and the second phase of her life started. Arvind was a different man then. He didn't allow her to continue her work, as he wanted her to put all her time taking the responsibility of the house, of their home. She was broken. The shine in her eyes faded. But she was in love and she wanted it to work. So she quit the job. But it was all just started. Few months of their married life went smooth, but then suddenly Arvind, to fulfill his greeds, started abusing Sujata about the amount of money her parents gave at the time of marriage. Again, she was broken, but she continued to be with him. She wanted it to work. She was protecting the fake pride of her husband. Was it done then? No. Sujata was pregnant and later blessed with a baby girl. And things were about to get worsened again. As Arvind didn't stop to abuse her, and this time it was about giving birth to a baby girl. She was mentally entirely broken. And one day, she boldly took her own stand. And what happened? This tall, muscular man raised his hand and slapped her. Her entire world changed upside down. Her entire life scattered in blink of an eye. It was not easy, but she was not going to stay quiet now. Breaking all the barriers of families and societies, she just came out of this cage. And to all the questions which was raised, such as can she raise a child alone? Can she be able to live a life without her husband? Can she be able to earn money again? Her answer was yes, she can. And she started an organization to help every such woman to live their life independently, to fight for their self-respect. And she concluded her speech that believe in yourself as you can. And the entire hall was reverberated with the voices of women saying, yes, we can. Yes, we can. Jai Hind.
Hello, my name is Minal Suryavanshi. Today I am going to tell a story. My story's name is The Struggles of Our Life. Once upon a time, a daughter complained her that her life was miserable and that she didn't know how she was going to make it. She was tired of fighting and struggling all the time. It just seemed as one problem was solved, the another soon followed. So her father, a chef, took her to the kitchen. He filled 3 pots with water and placed each on a high fire. Once the pots began to boil, he placed potatoes in the first pot, eggs in the second pot, and some ground coffee beans in the third pot. Then he let them sit and boil without saying a word to his daughter. The daughter moaned and impatiently waited, wondering what he was doing. After 20 minutes, he turned off the boilers. He took the potatoes out of the pot and placed it in a bowl. Then he took the eggs, and placed it in a bowl. Then he ladled the coffee beans and placed it in a cup. Turning to her, he asked, "Daughter, what do you see?" "Eggs, potatoes, coffee bean," she hastily replied. "Look closer," he said, and touched the potatoes. She did, and noted the soft potato. Then he asked her to take an egg and break it. After pulling off the shell, she observed the hard-boiled egg. Then he finally asked to take a sip of coffee. Its rich aroma brought a smile to her face. "Father, what does this mean?" she asked. Then he explained that the potatoes, eggs, and coffee had each faced the same adversity, the boiling water. However, each one reacted differently. The potatoes went in hard, strong, and unrelenting. But in the boiling water, it became soft and weak. The egg was fragile, with a thin outer shell protecting its liquid interior. But in the boiling water, the inside of the egg became hard. However, coffee beans were unique. After they exposed to the boiling water, they changed the water. They made something new. "Which one are you?" he asked. "When adversity knocks on your door, how do you respond? Are you a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean?" So, the moral of the story is, in life, things happen to us. Things happen around us. But the only thing matters is, how do you respond? How do you react it? How do you make of it? So the life is all about leaning, adopting, and converting the struggles of your life in something positive that you had experienced. So, thank you so much.
Hello respected judges, I am Twara Mankar from Rajkot, studying in 12th standard at Dolakia School. Today I am going to narrate a beautiful story on the topic happiness. One day, a group of 50 people went to attend a seminar. The seminar started at the designated time and went on for a while, when suddenly the speaker had an idea. So he said, "Let us all have a group activity. I am sure all of us will have fun." So next, he asked for a basket of balloons. He handed a balloon to each person in the conference room and further said, "Now, each one of you is supposed to write their names on the balloon with a marker. After you are done writing, you are supposed to keep that balloon in the basket being passed around you." Everyone did as they were asked to. After the writing and collection of balloons was done, the speaker took the basket of balloons and went to another room. Soon he returned and said, "Now, all of you are required to go to the room and bring the balloon with your name on it. And remember, for doing this, you have got only 5 minutes. All the best, everyone." Soon, the entire group rushed out of the room in a hurry to find their balloons. Within 5 minutes, they pushed and showed each other, but in the end, they could find nothing. After 5 minutes had elapsed, the speaker said, "Please come out of the room. And now, we will be performing another activity. So for the next task, you are supposed to randomly pick up a balloon from this basket and hand it over to the person whose name was written on it." Everyone did as they were instructed to. They took the balloon and read whose name it was and passed it on to that person. Soon, they realized that they received their balloons faster and easier than earlier. Then the speaker divulged the topic to what he meant to say. You see, he started, this is what we do with our lives. We frantically look for happiness in our lives. We search every nook and cranny, but still find nothing. We push each other, we shove each other, we hurt each other in the process of looking for our happiness, but we can't find it. What we fail to realize is that our happiness not only depends on us, but the happiness we give to others. So if you want to look for your happiness, give others their happiness and you will find yours. Thank you.
Everyone, my name is Zeel Vadodaria and I am here to participate in the short story competition on the topic values and ethics. Values. They are a set of belief of what is right. Like since childhood, we were taught that respect your elders, never say lies, have gratitude towards everybody. And on the other hand, ethics, they are a conduct of what is right, which is always right and universally accepted. Today, in this world where we grew up, we tend to lose the essence of our values. As we grow up, that one thing which keeps us anchored to our roots and to our culture and to our lineage are values. But as we grow up, we adapt to the society and live all this back, the values, and they are just dusted or they lose track. Today I'm here to share a story about Arya, a self-motivated and perfectionist girl at work. She was brought up in a very loving and caring environment. And little did she know that the real challenge lied outside her comfort zone. The day had finally arrived when she cleared her government services and she was to serve the nation. Arya always dreamed about serving the nation, uplifting the society, and educating the mass. She was on a regular round one fine day, and she saw that in the nearby village, a bunch of girls were sent back home. She was shocked and she talked to the head of the school. And the reply which came, she was astonished by the reply. The head said that because of the increasing rate of violence on girls and lack of hygiene facility in the school campus, they were sent back home. Arya thought that snatching the basic education rights of a girl or any person is snatching their right to life and education. Arya, as a civil servant, passed an order that now on no person in the village or in the nearby village will be sent home because of this lack of facility or violence. There was a rage in the villagers and in the parents and everybody. Now she had to deal the situation in such a manner that it could be win-win for the girls as well as the village. Arya went back to her values where she was taught how to never tolerate injustice. She, with her tactics and skills, convinced all the villagers. Not only did she convince, but she also opened a defense school academy in the village for all the women. She made everybody realize that how basic education is equal. It should be equal and should be available for everybody, girl, boy, everyone. By this situation, we can see that how a civil servant, being on duty, they walked with values and ethics hand in hand. She did not just sit and see the injustice happen around her. She removed it out of the society and out of the mind of the people with the torch of education. Every one of us has these qualities, values and ethics in us. All it requires is to refresh it, reinstall it and implement it in the right time, in the right place. And it will become a better place to live in. The world will become a better place to live in. That is all from my side. Thank you.